Hey again everyone and welcome to another episode of Beards and Board Games with me, Georgie. Today I'm going to be reviewing Seven Wonders Duel. Now you might recognise the name Seven Wonders from I believe recently breached into the, breached should we call it, into the Board Game Geek Top 20. It's older father, bigger brother, Seven Wonders, which was not a game like this. I should explain. This game is solely for 2 players only, doesn't go anymore. Believe Antoine Bauza was speaking to a lot of people who were big fans of the game, and a lot of people were saying they were playing it 2-player, and he was kind of like, no, you can't do this. It's built for playing it as like a multiple player game. So to him, he was like, right. He got together with Bruna Cathala, and they decided to design this 2-player version. Now it's a 2-player card drafting game, lasts about 30 minutes. Now I don't really want to go into too much more detail without you having a look at it, so let's just go and have a look at Seven Wonders Duel. Okay guys, first off I thought I would just start off by showing you some of the 7 wonders. I say 7 wonders, there's a lot of wonders here, but they're not actually all wonders, but some of them are the ancient wonders, some of the ancient wonders of the world. And I just thought I would go through briefly what they are and how you get them. So there's a resource value at the side here. Now that's how much resources this costs to actually build. Now to build it, you would take a card that's from, you can see this big pyramid that's still blurry in the background here. You would, on your turn, you would take, if you could generate these resources on your turn, you could take a card, any card, from there, flip it upside down and stick it underneath this section here, and that would show you then that you would win these. Now I'm not going to go through all the iconography in the game because there is a lot, trust me on that. But actually I'll mention it now just because we're about to go through it. Now, the only downside of the game for me is this would be really hard to teach to like a non-gamer or beginner, simply because the iconography is crazy. There's so much of it, really, like for like an intro, any sort of intro gamer, there's so much. There just really is a lot of iconography in it. However, I mean, that's glass, that's brick, that's stone. That to me kind of speaks for itself. This is victory points. This means you get to take another turn. As you can see, this is Sphinx. I'll go through some of them, but that's papyrus, so you know, like the old school paper. Wood, obviously. I believe that's all the 5 resources I've shown you now. That just means that you get to instantly take 12 coins because you get some money in the game as well, which can also help you. Because like some cards have a cost, as I'll see when I zoom in on the on this pyramid, which is set up for age 1 here, and that's the Temple of Artemis. Artemis, sorry, excuse my pronunciation, and is that the Appian Way? Yeah, that's the Great Road between the Persian. Yeah, okay, I know what that is, the Persian Empire Road. So that's obviously papyrus, 2 wood, 2 stone, but this one generates victory points. You get to take another turn. The other player loses 3 coins. Anytime you see this sort of crack symbol in the game, it means the other player loses that, or you get to choose that, you get to discard that. And there's a lot of them. At the start of the game, you will lay 4 down. The first player will take 1, the second player will take 2, and the first player again will take 1. And then you'll do it again, but in the opposite order, and then both of you will end up with 4 of these each. Now, these aren't like, you don't win obviously if you build all these. However, you get 4 each, but you can only use 7 in total. Like obviously the 7 wonders. So that's the wonder cards. Okay, I just thought I would quickly show you and go over the combat track as well, so I don't need to show you that when I'm going over the cards. So this is the combat track. You'll see that it starts bang in the middle. Here's the thing. This is another way to win. So I should quickly just mention, in the game you can win either via having 6 out of the 7 science symbols, which I will show you in a second. You can win via either pushing combat all the way to your opponent's city and ending it, tipped over, and getting it right to there, and that will win you the game. Or you can, by the end of the 3rd age, that ends the game, and whoever has the most victory points, which is the thing in the sort of green. You can actually see it here. I don't really know what to call it. It's I remembered the name of that earlier as well, but I've forgotten it now. However, that's victory points. Now, when you play a combat card, which is this symbol here, or buy a combat card, so like this. So you almost, essentially when you're taking them, you're just playing them down in your city like this, like down in front of you. You take cards from this pyramid, which is behind the combat track. I'll show you that in a second. So say like I paid 2 coins on my turn. I took this one. See, this has got a 2 cost here. I took this card. Now that would instantly give me 1 combat, and that would push this combat straight into there. Now I will just quickly show you as well. Now when you get with the science symbols, which I'll just show you on a card just now. There's 7 of them, and you need to click 6 out of the 7. There's one of them. I'm not going to go through them all. Like I said, there's a lot of iconography in the game, but never mind. Here's one of them. So when you get two of the same sign symbols, you get to select one of the progress tokens. They're called. Now each of them again has another icon on them. Like this one is costs two less resources to buy a wonder, two less resources to buy a blue card, which generally gives you victory points. This is actually another science symbol, victory points, because it's in that green leafy banner again. And this one is strategy. I believe that that is anytime you use a combat card. So for example, if I drafted this, then I would get an extra combat, which means it would move here. Now the further it moves along here, so you can see there's tokens here. If I break this barrier here, don't know if you can see these dotted lines here, there's one here, here and here. If I break into this one, then the opposing player instantly loses 2 coins. You can see it's got that crack symbol again. And this one is opposing player loses 5 coins, and then obviously you're getting in dangerous territory here, 'cause I could win if I get it right away here. And that's basically the combat track, and that's the progress tokens for if you get 2 of the same sign symbols. So guys, this is the basic setup for the first age of Seven Wonders Duel. Now you'll see the cards are laid out in a very specific way. These cards are face up, these cards face up, these cards face up, face down. Now there's little help sheets on exactly how to do this, and you'll see that the sort of shape of the way you're drafting the cards changes each age, kind of mixing up a little bit as well. Just kind of makes it a little bit more interesting in my opinion. I really enjoy that. Now there's kind of 4 different colours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colours cards, I believe. So there's the gold cards, which generally either give you gold straight away or will give you money off resources when you need to buy them, because you can always buy a resource from the bank, which will cost you 2 gold for the resource plus 1 gold for any resource that the opposing player is generating on his brown or grey cards. Grey cards here. Now the red cards are always combat, which will push the combat track up, which is always sort of above. I always keep above the age, sort of forward for whoever drafts that card. Blue cards will always give you victory points, and brown and grey cards will always give you resources. I do apologise, there is also green cards, which will generate sign symbols for you. And one way to win is there's 7 sign symbols, and the first person who has 6 different sign symbols will win. Another way is obviously, like I mentioned earlier, for the combat. If you get the combat, push the combat right over to the other opposing player's civilization, you would win that way. And the other way is by victory points at the end once you finished age 3. Now, how do you actually finish an age? So, on a player's turn, he can do a couple of things. So, he can draft a card, so he can either pay money, because like I said earlier, each player starts with some money, so you can pay money to pay for a card. You see this one's got a cost here. Some cards are free, like this one, and it would just give you victory points. Some cards are cheap, some cards are pretty pricey for really what you get. And some cards, like you said, just generate resources for free, so you'd probably take that one on your turn. And you would just keep them in front of you, sort of stacked together like that, just so that you know how much resources you're generating, because that becomes really handy when you're trying to build your wonders. And obviously later on in age 2 and age 3, when the cards become a little bit pricey and a little bit more expensive when you're trying to buy them. So you'll see that this card's still not revealed. Now it's not revealed because it's not fully uncovered by another card yet. So for instance, if the next player said, well, I'll just take some victory points. Now, I wouldn't want to take this card either, because then this one would get revealed, but whoever takes this one reveals 2 cards. And that's where the sort of strategy comes in, like, do I want them to have that? Do I want to have that? I don't know what's behind there, so I probably don't want them to have any of those, or certainly not first choice at them. So it can become like really thinky, and that's sort of where a lot of the strategy lies, on how you're drafting the cards in the different ways. And I really, really like it that way. Now, like I said earlier, I believe there's 5 different resources, so you get stone, bricks, wood, papyrus, and glass. And you use that to build your wonders, to get victory points, to build sciences, to push combat, and like I said, whoever gets combat to the end has the most victory points by the end of age 3, or has 6 out of the 7 sign symbols wins. And like I said earlier with the sign symbols, if you get 2 of the matching sign symbols, then you can get one of the progress tokens from above the combat line. Guys, let's go and take a look about what I thought of Seven Wonders Duel. So guys, what did I think of Seven Wonders Duel overall? I think it's absolutely awesome. As far as just like a sole 2-player game goes, this is really high up on my list. As like, it's so good. The 3 different ways to win, using the combat. If you You never feel like too many times in certain two-player games do you feel like, oh well, it's over, there's nothing I can do, and you play the last couple of rounds and you're pretty sure that you've lost. With this, you never feel like you've completely lost. You either feel that you can get combat, or you're going to try and collect the sciences depending on what comes up in that. You know, the cards you haven't flipped over yet. There's just so many variants, and I just find it super super fun. Um, as far as a downside, I guess the fact that it's just a sole two-player, even though I've just said that that's kind of an upside for it because it's a high two-player game for me. But a lot that will put a lot of people off. Not a lot of people will play just sole two-player games because when a lot of people want to game, they want to game with 3, 4, 5 people. You know, get as social as possible, and I totally get that. But for me, quite often I find myself in situations where I only have 2 players. So for this is absolutely awesome, and it fills that 30-minute time slot. Just so awesome. I really, really enjoy it. Seven Wonders Duel, super, super high up on my like 2-player only list. And as far as like games that came out this year, this is a really, really good one for me too. So that's my opinion on Seven Wonders Duel. Guys, comment down below. Let me know what you think. If any of you guys have played it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on Twitter at Beards and Boards. Guys, catch you guys later. This episode was sponsored by GamesLore, the UK's largest specialist games retailer, which can be found at gameslore.com.